And actually, Michael, let's do this real quick. Do you mind turning off your camera, wait 5 seconds or so, and then turn it on? And what that'll do is it'll have the background image that I had left there kind of when the recording starts, and we'll cut to there. And then that way, when you turn on your camera, it kind of acts as a start. That way we're not just staring at your face at the beginning of the video. Cool, thank you. Oh, Rachel, you made it. We ended up pushing your ballot, Rachel, but we'll get you in for the next one. This is the final round if you want to watch, but otherwise I'll contact you outside of this round about how we'll get you set up for the next round. Thank you very much. Give me just a second. I'm going to change one thing. Oh,
I am so sorry to bother you, but I did want you to know that for SPAR, the second.
Hey, Isabella, I need just a minute.
Oh, apologies.
No worries. Thank you. Give me 1 second, folks. I want to change one more setting before we start that. Okay. And I think we're all good to go. Michael, wait like 5 more seconds and go ahead and start the round when you're ready.
Okay. Yeah, welcome to the final round of prepared acting. I was trying to find the right word for it. So prepared acting. Just to make sure who we have in the room before we start, I see Jeremy. I'm assuming Jessica is here. That's Jessica Lampert that's here. Okay, and then I'm assuming everyone else is either judges or spectators. Cool. All right. Yeah, so we'll start with Jeremy. And Jeremy, if you want to give like a brief thank you to anyone, feel free to, and then you can go into your speech, as long as all the judges are ready.
Great. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Excellent. I just want to give a thank you to my students who pushed me to be a performer again this year, and I just want to thank them. If you are all set, I will begin here in just 1 second. Well, hello there, all you cool cats and kittens. Look at you strolling in here all mask-free. Arrogant as shit, thinking you're over me. Oh, it ain't over. Shout out to my girl, Carol Maskin. She didn't kill her husband, she vaxxed him. She's a savage. I love her. Oh, but I'll be honest, I don't have an accent. I'm actually mutational. You see, I wasn't even invited here tonight. Excuse the intrusion, but I would never miss my second birthday party or some contact distribution. I came in like a wrecking ball. I latched onto your lungs and all. Oh yes, from Tom Hanks to Miley Cyrus, Cardi B rolled that tongue and coined me coronavirus. Oh, yes, it's time to party. I'm ready to multiply this COVID crew. So get your head out of your ass and into a mask, or coronavirus is coming for you. Okay. At the end of 2020, a new group of community college poets took to the schools of Baltimore, known as the Rhyme Scheme Flowetry Team, to advocate for the widespread use of masks to combat the COVID-19 pandemic. Their spoken word mission? To remind the public that the only thing more infectious than the coronavirus is our insensitivity to how we have handled it. As a creator and poet of this team, we utilized our platform to personify COVID as the ugly reflection of our own selfish, thoughtless mistakes regarding the virus. Our political satire demonstrates how a deadly pandemic may have dulled our physical senses, but argues that only in our acknowledgement of our disregard will we come to sharpen our moral senses. As the virus now peaks at over 1,032,000 deaths in the US, we must unite in our efforts to stay safe, whether we have had the vaccine or not, because the pandemic is not over. We must remain vigilant and mindful to do what we can, when we can, until we are more certain about the days ahead. In the immortal words of Maryland's Governor Larry Hogan, wear the damn mask. Stairway to Wuhan by the Rhyme Scheme Flowetry Team. Just pop that aspirin and let me see what you got. Just pop that aspirin because your fever be hot. I love me. Oh, it's my birthday. Let's celebrate me. Sit back, relax, put down that 95% effective Pfizer vax. Who needs it? I mean, forget about those antiviral lotions and washy hand potions. Economic impact is a fact. Sorry about your life, Norwegian, but your stocks aren't coming back. Oh. You know, leave it to democracy. I'll just disappear. Can you imagine if Mike Pence took his vaccine up the rear? But I digress. I must confess. You don't learn me, I learn you. And if 2020 has taught me anything, it is that you never had a single ounce of taste to begin with. It's funny because it's true. Human health has been subjected to wealth. Hydroxychloroquine became a linchpin. Instead of social distancing, you quarantined, and you needed everyday essentials. You vultured grocery stores like, I bet this bleach has potential. I watched you hoard bread and milk and eggs like a baker. You literally forgot people who knew how to wipe their own ass, and then you seized their toilet paper. I mean, who does that shit? Really? Pun intended. I think it's splendid that you bask in your blatant disregard, but I question for dramatic tension if you've ever heard a child's beating heart. Oh, I was there. I was there when that child stood there vomiting through the diarrhea, the fatigue. I was there when the ventilators were her only way to breathe. I was there when her mother took me home against her will. I was there when she collapsed. Gasping, praying, still. I was there when the orange man concocted me a race. I put him in his bunker, 14 days up in that space. Oh, come on. He bellowed Chinese virus. He guffawed at Kung Flu. Are you kidding? I'm whoever the hell I want to be. I don't answer to you. I'm not above name calling Cheeto. I can do it too. As the election neared its end, every day was like you quit. And when you morally go bankrupt, you're just a piece of shit. I would spit in your vaccines, cause a shortage, and all you would do is wonder why. Why? And then you cry. Oh, why? Why do I have to be a culprit on this pulpit? Why aren't you fucking sick of this? All you Bible thumping bitches touting Trump like it's Leviticus, COVIDiots. Are you hearing this? What good is a life if you're not around to be living it? Mr. Former President, you're not the only problem. You're not the only one. Oh yes, you closed down all your borders and I'm still a smoking gun. Say it. I've won. Say it. I've won. So here is some unsolicited advice. You're welcome. From a not-so-flu-like foe. If vaccines were the answer, I'd think by now you'd know. I have heard you pray to a superior being that you don't even know exists, yet you consistently turn away from hope as real as this. I have a tin man's heart to save you, but I have a scarecrow's conscience enough to tell you that a lion's courage isn't enough. Being selfish isn't enough. A conspiracy theory isn't enough. Pretending I'll just disappear isn't enough. Your prejudice, your politics, your prosperity, your privilege will never be enough. Enough said. A fucking million people are dead. Oh. But I know you care because you're so socially aware. Ah, shame on you. On you. The blame is on you. Oh, that little voice in your head that you're hearing, that's your conscience, boo. I'm not disappearing. This is still just my debut. Well, now you know firsthand, from Wuhan to your hand, I'm coming, invisible contraband. Oh yeah, baby. You don't have to be a poet. You don't have to be a pandemic wordsmith to show it. The price of a life is worth the price of a mask. So put that mask on your face and bestow it. Or I'm coming for you. And you know it. Okay.
All right. So, and Jeremy, are you double entered? No. Okay.
I am in this round. I'm the last speaker of the double entry.
Okay. So let's go to Jessica.
Hello.
And Jessica, if you want to give any thank yous or anything before you start, just let me know.
Yeah, I would love to thank my husband, who is really supportive of me being here and who's also a former competitor. I'd also like to thank my teammates, Alan and Evan, for being super awesome and chill people. Yeah.
Great. Start whenever you are ready.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Are the other judges ready?
Yes.
I'm gonna take silence as a yes.
Okay. So jump on my side, sit on this so bright side. That seems nice. Oh, hey, hi. Thank you so much for seeing me today. I really appreciate it. I'm just making some food. Don't worry, I'm good. Yeah, so this week has already been really overwhelming, and I didn't know if I could make it until Thursday. So, okay, great. Okay, so work has been hell. Two more staff members quit this week, so now my 12-hour shifts have turned into 16-hour shifts. So when I get home, I have just enough time to eat, take a shower, wash my scrubs, and sleep before I gotta wake up and do it all over. And the hospital's at maximum capacity. Again, there are no rooms, no beds. Overflow patients are being stored in hallways and waiting rooms. And we still haven't received any of the ventilators that I told you about, like from last July. And you know, we really need those badly. Would be a real breath of fresh air if we had those. And you know, December is kind of a really rough month for us in general. People get sick of seeing their relatives all the time. They get sick of hearing Michael Bublé playing on the radio, but no one wants to be sick during the holidays. The COVID-19 pandemic damaged the morale of healthcare workers all over the globe. According to NPR in October of 2021, the burnout that nurses experienced led to a domino effect of staggering turnover, overwhelming backlog, and skyrocketing anxiety. I'm studying to become a nurse, and I'm already struggling to help my own family members help themselves and accept their first dose of the vaccine. To combat this epidemic, we need to provide the mental health support that our medical professionals need. Simply put, we need to care for our caretakers. Dear Christmas tree, an original. So I try my best not to get attached to patients. They tell us that on day one, but I feel like I need to talk about this one, just get it off my chest. There was this elderly Armenian woman who was part of my rounds, 68, I think. She reminded me so much of my own grandma, my nene. She even wore a similar perfume, kind of musky and overly sweet. Her name was Anahit, and she was a firecracker. She had this iPad that she would use to watch these old soap operas late into the night, just keeping everybody up. And if anyone complained, she would tell them to go fuck yourself in Armenian. And then when they asked her, you know, what she was saying, she would just reply, "Oh, I'm saying a blessing for your health, my dear." And then she'd just keep arguing about how important the stories were to her and how they were keeping her alive. Very dramatic. Yeah. I eventually convinced her to wear headphones. Some of the time. Didn't stop her from loudly murmuring at the characters through the screen about what fools they were being. I would sit with her sometimes in my sterile paper gown, triple masked, 6 feet away, because no one else would. She had no one else. So we kind of made it like part of our routine. I would finish my rounds and then I would come over to her room and just sit with her. And she would ask me things like if I knew any songs in Armenian. Truthfully, I'm not really that fluent. I never have been, but I did remember this one little song about a beautiful Christmas tree that my mom taught me when I was a kid. Donacar, Jan, donacar, nim sirone supaicar, esin slavnes, choskomat lui supaicar. She loved that. When she wasn't coughing, she would talk about nothing in particular. Recipes from the old country, what was going on in her shows, her most recent political opinions. She said she wasn't a Republican, wasn't a Democrat. She just hated everyone. Yeah. And every now and then I would try to ask her if she'd be willing to let us try to treat her. It's stuff like dexamethasone. It's an anti-inflammatory that can help prevent organ failure. It wasn't too late. It could help save her life. But every time she would get this panicked look over her face and she would start screaming, no, no vaccine. And I would have to calmly explain to her, it's not a vaccine, but it is good medicine. But one time she grabbed my arm and she pulled me in close and she said, my dear, you should not put things in your body you can't pronounce. Don't you watch the news? They're trying to poison us. You will see. Once this pandemic bullshit is over, you will see. Like, where the hell do people get this shit? Like patients who are too weak right now to even hold up their own heads are telling me that I'm misinformed. Like you came to the hospital to get medication, right? But not that medication, not the one thing that can possibly help save your life if it's not already too late. Anahit's chart said that she had been a smoker for 45 years. And she wants to school me on pulmonology? Exactly. Yeah, yes, I can. I'm sorry, that's my job. I can pronounce every ingredient in the vaccine. And I've watched it turn the tide over the last year. This was supposed to be getting better. Every email I read from work, every update kept saying that the light at the end of the tunnel was in sight, just to not lose hope. But it feels like nothing we do is enough. And I understand that when people think that they've locked on to some truth, it's really hard to open their minds to other ideas. We're stubborn like that. But people are dying. Nurses are dying. And nobody's allowed to do anything about it. Like, I can't just grab Anahit by the shoulders and shake any sense into her. I can't yell at her or call her an idiot or force her to save herself. I can't force any of them to save themselves. Like, the solution is right there in their hands. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. I don't fucking get it. No, I'm all right. I just. She took a worse turn on December 24th. So she was hooked up to one of our available ventilators, and the tube going down her throat prevented her from speaking. So I spoke to her. I told her that everything was going to be okay, that we were doing everything we could for her. And as midnight rolled around, I felt her fingers growing weaker through my gloves. And over the roar of the machine that was breathing for her, I sang to her. Oh, shit. That's 30. Yeah, my break's over. I gotta go. 8 more hours. Back to it. So, hey, thank you for this. I can't tell you how much I needed it. You're a lifesaver. Yes, absolutely. Thursday, our usual time. Okay. Thank you so much. Bye. Thank you. I'll be excused to my next round.
Yes, you can.
Okay, thank you so much. Good luck, everyone.
All right, let me see. Looks like we're still waiting for Alan. So, Jeremy, do you mind going again? If the rest of the judges are ready.
No problem.
Cool. Whenever you're ready.
All right, everybody can see me, hear me okay? All righty. Whew, you do hot yoga. You know that it is disturbingly seductive. Like that shifty bead of sweat that trickles from your back to your unmentionables. And then you're stuck in a hot, silent scream. Help. So here I am, thanks to some unsolicited advice from self-help enthusiast TikTok. I guess dealing with my troubles this way was easier than telling my family about my problems. Sure, my tights, they could be a little less oppressive, but I'm getting used to it. And today we're learning pranayama, the yoga of the breath. In this ancient practice, apparently you're supposed to release toxins that help with breathing, which I need. It's safe to hold your breath for like a minute or two. Our happy pills personified instructor tells us. But some days I just want to keep holding it. To hold on to him. To understand why he would refuse himself oxygen. And insist that I be the one to take it from him. Podcast host and sex advice columnist Dan Savage commonly answers readers' questions about romance deal breakers. He explains to audiences, you can't have an honest relationship with someone unless you're willing to identify what he calls the prices of admission, the prices you are willing to pay and the ones you are not. According to Dr. Debbie Herbenek, author of Because It Feels Good, A Guide to Sexual Pleasure and Satisfaction, agrees with Savage and asserts the price can be very high. Last year, 21% of women had been choked during sex, as well as 11% of men, 8% of which were gay. Her study found that almost 40% of 18 to 29-year-olds have engaged in the phenomenon known as choking. Moreover, 75% of participants confessed that consent was not established by both parties prior to the act. This play reminds us that knowing the price of admission helps couples clearly communicate personal boundaries that are respected as completely off the table. Long before buying a ticket for something, you feel obligated to attend. Breath play, in original. Burning thighs of hell, it is hot in here. Oh my God. It is not the day to forget my deodorant. Okay. Oh, you know what? I deserve this. Oh, nothing says free therapy like yoga on the sun to clear the mind. What are we doing now? Okay, one of these poses. What is this? The warrior stance. All right. They say the warrior stance is built to make you feel as if you are strong. It's strength, it's combat, it's anger. The warrior stance was a spiritual practice of inner self-discovery and transformation. Oh, she is subtle. I don't feel like a warrior. I don't know the first thing about war. But I know I'd fight for him. You know, when we were 20, I remember when we were 20, he wanted me to be more adventurous. Are you kidding? We just had sex on the balcony. What do you want me to do? Film it too? So I filmed it. Yeah, I guess you could say our love for each other was as hot as the 103 degrees on that thermostat. And then when we were 21, very broke and in graduate school, I remember he wanted me to gamble my paycheck. No, I am not putting all of our money down on one casino night. Come on. We won $4,000 that night. You know what? I loved it. I loved it. It was enticing. It was thrilling. And he wanted more. And of course, it grew quickly, this need for more. I remember when I was 22, he asked the question, can I share you? We're married. We just got married. I don't think I can share you. I mean, what if I say no? I didn't. I thought I might lose him. I thought about it for months. You know, he just had this way of talking me into things. You know, maybe we both wanted it, or maybe we got carried away. But before you know it, I mean, we were doing crazy things like role playing, and we were swingers, and we were doing drugs, good drugs, but we were doing them. Like, I have never felt so alive, and his happiness was just so temporary. My happiness was his. Last month, as I was arriving home, I go upstairs and he's on the bed, handcuffed. And I'm like, all right, I'm into it. But that's when a stranger emerged from our bathroom. And he comes toward me and says, take it easy, old man. Taught him some new tricks. Enjoy. Really? I want you to choke me. I can take it. Just consider it. And that's the problem. I can't stop considering it. Stuck here in this all too poetic corpse pose. I mean, what if I accidentally? When did I become a hostage instead of a husband? I decide it's time to do something, because I know that this fire is no longer a flame. Light the candles. I hit the lights. And I get onto the bed. I trust you. You have my consent if you need it. I wrap my hands around his throat. Softly, as if to warn him, I push my thumbs in gently, as if not to leave a mark. I hold his breath as if it were my own. I know now. This is not love. This is too far. I know I'm leaving him. I let go.
All right. I think we're still waiting on Alan. So I think we're just gonna chill for a little bit till Alan comes in.
All right, and thanks again, everyone. We are just waiting for Alan Gray. I checked in with the other final round. He's finishing up and should be here any minute. So thank you for your patience.
Hello.
All right, Alan, we were waiting on you.
Yes, we have finally finished debate, the first debate. So I'm very happy to be with you today.
All right, whenever you're ready.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. So it seems that because of every syndrome and disorder we've invented over the past 30 years, the Los Angeles Times reported that 63% of American families are now considered dysfunctional. My God, that means we're the majority. We're normal. It's the people who had the mommy and the daddy and the brother and the sister, little white picket fence. Those people are the freaks, man. My parents' divorce settlement involved a bar tab. They had a big court battle over who got to keep me. Mom won. She made me live with dad. My father, a hard drinking man from the 70s, we actually have no pictures of him where he is not holding a beer. Weddings, funerals, water skiing, parent-teacher conference. Whenever I used to get sick as a kid growing up, my dad always used to warm me up a shot of 100 proof whiskey. Never got sick that I can remember. The COVID-19 public health crisis has reminded all of us to place a premium, not just on our physical health and safety, but our emotional welfare as well. In this program, from his first stand-up special, the author reminds us of the importance of speaking about our problems with others and laughing about them if we can. Norman Rockwell is Bleeding by Christopher Titus. My father, great man. Sober, he's a saint. Drunk, Satan. It was weird because we weren't deprived as kids growing up. I mean, we do stuff. We go water skiing. Dad get up, hey kids, this morning, let's go water skiing. Woo, woo, woo. Then around noon or beer o'clock, he just starts slamming them down. And it was weird because he's got the same problem with alcohol I have, where his personality just flips. But I was like 5 when this started happening, so I didn't know what was going on. You know, I just thought like my dad had an alter ego, like he was some kind of superhero. The most negative superhero on the planet, anti-dad. Wherever there is hope, I will crush it. Where self-esteem rears its shiny head, I will be there to kick it in the testicles. Hey, Dad, guess what? I got a B on my report card. A B, huh? Well, it's not an A, is it, son? Now that the smile has left your face, I'm off. Hey, Dad, guess what? I graduated high school. Graduated high school, huh? Well, you didn't come close to valedictorian, did you, loser? When your confidence returns, so will I. Hey, Dad, guess what? I got my first job. First job, huh? Well, a real man would own his own business. Now I'm off to destroy your mother. Hey, Dad, guess what? A few years ago, I started my own business called Deranged Entertainment. I make shows for national television, and I made more money per week last year than you made all fucking year. What do you think about that? Huh? I think without me pushing you, you never would have made it, boy. My mom is crazy. Also, 180 IQ, spoke 4 languages, and qualified for Miss California in the 60s. See, I believe life is all about balance. My mom, brilliant, but manipulative. Beautiful, but more voices in her head than the Wu-Tang Clan. Loved her kids, killed her last husband. I say last husband because you don't get another one after that. Mom had made this Thanksgiving dinner and she had it on the table at 4:15. Well, her husband thought it should have hit the table at 4 o'clock. So he picked up the turkey and threw it across the room, to which my mom countered with a boiling pot of potatoes. As was her right, I looked it up in the domestic violence desk reference. Now, in this case, man throws turkey, mom throws potatoes, and in a normal family, someone might have stood up and gone, Thanksgiving fruit pies! Oh, God bless us, everyone. But in this case, this man got up, beat the crap out of my mom, and punched her face in. Yeah, so she went upstairs, got a gun, and shot him 3 times because she didn't want him to do that again. She went to trial, got acquitted, and got the guy's $100,000 life insurance policy. She was crazy, not insane. I got a call from my dad a while back. He said, I got some news about your mom. I said, ugh. And she was living in Missouri in a trailer because, you know, when you move to Missouri, they give you a trailer. Had one of her episodes, took a Duraflame log and threw it through the local sheriff's front window. And I said, wow, that's a new one, huh, Dad? Because we, you know, kept a list by the phone. And the sheriff in town knew my mom, didn't put her in prison. He put her in this hospital. She had to go to some crazy therapy like every day for a year. I said, and he said, well, she started seeing her life different. I said, and he said, she started taking responsibility for all the crap that had happened. I said, and he said, she realized she was the one who caused it and not us. I said, and he said, and she got out and she killed herself. He said, and? Because I hadn't seen my mom in like 14 years, you know? It didn't really faze me. My dad said, come on, Chris, don't be like that. I said, Dad, I'm all right. And I hung up. And I called him back. I said, Dad, she take anybody else with her? He said, you know, that was my first question too. And he hung up. But I didn't deal with it. And about 4 weeks later, I'm on this plane to do some shows, and the cuisine is being served from a wheeled metal cart, like most great cuisine. And it was this Thanksgiving turkey platter ensemble. And when I smelled it, it kicked off every memory of my mom all at the same time. So I'm sitting there like, in an airplane today, not a real good place to have a nervous breakdown. So I flip that tray up, I run into the airplane bathroom, I'm lying on the floor in the fetal position crying, and I don't just mean crying. I mean snot's coming out my nose, booger bubbles are bursting all over the place, and the flight attendants are freaking. Mr. Titus, are you okay in there? Yes! I'd like some complimentary peanuts, please. And I cried for almost an hour, 53 minutes. I was wearing a watch. And I felt better afterward. I was like, okay, I needed to do that. I feel better. So I come out of the bathroom, but, you know, I don't want to talk to anybody, you know. I just grab a Newsweek out of magazine stowage. And I'm just flipping through the Newsweek. You know, I'm not really reading it. I don't want to talk to anybody. So I'm flipping through this Newsweek. But I stop on an article titled Mental Illness, Genetic? I have an excuse. And so the whole plane that saw me go into the bathroom crying are now watching me sit in my seat hysterically laugh. The whole plane went for the call but at once. Just boom! The article said, if you have a history of mental illness in your family, there's a high probability between the ages of 18 and 35, it'll happen to you. And I couldn't figure that out. How come mom's crazy and I'm not? How come I'm not psychotic? Well, it's possible. Mom stood up in front of people every night and talked about all the crap that had happened to her, and they sat around and laughed with her about it. Might have meant nothing, and she could have moved on cool. It's also possible she could have taken out the whole front row with a large caliber weapon. But you normal people, hook up with some crazy people. Make us your friends. You need us. People say junkies have no place in our society. I say we spend some money, clean up some junkies, make them go work for the Red Cross. You ever give blood to the Red Cross, little paper-headed trainee kid sticking you full of holes? Golly gee, this is a lot harder than a deep fryer. How does this work? You get an ex-junkie in there, and he's going to find a vein. Los Angeles Times reported that 63% of American families are now considered dysfunctional. Good. Because that means when Armageddon really happens, 37% of this country are going to lose their minds. Oh my God, the world is ending! 63%, we're going to go, hey, there's nobody watching the Lexus dealership. We're going to the apocalypse with leather and a CD player.
All right. That is it for this round. Thank you for everybody who participated in it. I think there's another round coming up, so you all are free to go. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Have a good evening.